All right, is it pronounced Adidas or Adidas? Let's see.
Adidas.
Adidas, okay. Wait, hold up. What's this?
Adidas.
Motherfucker! Y'all completely blew away my expectations for the first logo files on Nike, so let's take a look at their competitor and see the history and evolution of the Adidas logo. Before Adidas was, well, Adidas, we first need to look at the creation of Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory, a company created by two brothers, Adolf and Rudolf Dassler, in 1924. I'll call Adolf by his nickname Addy because, well, it makes sense for the story, and also there's something about the name Adolf that just gives me the creeps. I wonder what that could be. Anyways, the brothers introduced their first shoe at the 1936 Summer Olympics, where Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals and became the first African American to earn an Olympic sponsorship. This shoe, that shocked the world, was adorned with 3 angled stripes on the sides, a symbol that would become iconic to the brand. Needless to say, this phenomenal first introduction to the Dassler Brothers shoe rocketed the company seemingly overnight. The pair would continue to build their shoe company until the beginning of World War II. Addy was able to avoid being sent into war as the German government labeled him as a skilled shoemaker. Unfortunately for Rudolf, the government wasn't as forgiving and sent the older brother into battle. Rudolf saw this almost as a betrayal by his younger brother, as Addy was comfortably at home continuing making money from the family business, while Rudolf was putting his life on the line every single day. This didn't lead to just your family spat or brotherly rival either. This literally divided an entire town. Almost everyone in their small town of operations was employed by these two brothers. Years of negotiations finally came to an end in 1947, with the brothers splitting remaining earnings, equipment, and employees. Addy continued with their current line of shoes, rebranding to Adidas, and Rudolf took what was left and created what would become Puma today. But that is a story for a different time. Now, taking a left at this Fallout fork following Addy, he would rebrand to Adolf Dassler Adidas, along with a new logo in 1949. This logo included an image of the shoe that launched the brothers into sneaker fandom. Underneath, Adidas, in this simplistic sans serif font that's still used today. The only difference being the spines of the A and D stretched up around the shoe, almost symbolizing a finish line for the shoe to cross. A much less abstract approach to movement in their logo, unlike what we saw previously in Nike. 1 year later, in 1950, the company would drop the Adolf Dassler name and tagline that I can't pronounce for a simple and easy to remember Adidas. Only this time placing the name in a rounded off black box. This logo held on for 2 decades, but a variant was added in 1967, reversing the reversed and leaving the name unboxed. This version also squared off the pointy spines in the A's, creating more uniformity between the letters. In 1971, both of these logos were dropped for a new design aspect that we still see today. This, along with the rest of the upcoming logos, are still used by Adidas today, just for different lines of clothing that the company makes. The trefoil logo is arguably the most recognizable for the company worldwide. It features 3 fanned out leaves with the iconic 3 lines cutting through them. The trefoil is still used today for their classic line of clothing. In 1991, Adidas rolled out the most modernly recognized logo. This one featuring the 3 stripes that we all know and love, rotating them about 30 degrees and staggering them to create an upward motion. This is probably the logo that most will know right off the bat, as those 3 lines seem to pop up anytime Adidas is mentioned. A great modern logo, but there's just one thing about it that bothers me. There isn't a separation between the stripes and the name. When the two are just barely touching, it creates no room to breathe. It would be different if the stripes flowed into the letters, but as it is, it's not my favorite. If I were to redesign it, I would simply drop down the Adidas, making the logo feel more airy and less anxious. That's just my take though. I'm sure my design OCD is mainly to blame here. Moving on from my OCD design curse, in 2002, Adidas released this logo, which featured a circle that was thrown to Wolverine to catch with his claws. And I hate it. So let's break this down. If you remove the name from this logo, then really it just looks like a tech company to me. This logo fits more alongside with LinkedIn or Minolta or more so AT&T. I get it, the early 2000s was just a weird time for all of us, but this logo doesn't even suggest athletic wear to me. Now, I'm sure that annoyed more than a few of you, so let's move back to the good. In 2005, Adidas brought it back to a simple 3-striped logo. This time, with the stripes turning horizontal and laying next to the name. So much better than the last two, although it does tend to lean more toward corporate design and lack any sort of character that we've seen from the previous logos. And for the most recent, in 2022, Adidas was dropped from the logo, leaving only the 3 iconic racing stripes standing alone. Perhaps they took a page out of Nike's handbook and ran with an easy to recognize icon. No matter where you are in the world, guaranteed, if you see that, you'll immediately thank Adidas. So finally, probably the question you've always wondered but never bothered to look up yourself. What does Adidas even mean? Growing up, my friends and I always said, all day I dream about sports, or all day I dream about soccer, or ask dad if Democrats are smart. Okay, not the last one, but it would for sure get your dad's blood boiling. Surprisingly though, it's not an acronym. If you didn't gather it already from the beginning, Adidas is simply Adi and Dassler jammed together. ADI for Adi, and DAS for Dassler. Sorry to burst your bubble, kids. Boom! Nailed it! I hope you all enjoyed this logo files and got something out of it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and comment down below what companies and logos you'd like to see me cover next. Until next time, deuces everybody.